Good day everyone, I'm Fritzi Jane Calzania. In this video, I will be discussing about ecoliteracy and sustainable development. Before I will discuss ecoliteracy, let us first know what is sustainable development. Sustainable development is not a new word for us. We heard it everywhere, but what does sustainable development means? Sustainable development is defined as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. So if you wonder something is sustainable, you can ask yourself, can we do this over and over again forever? Sustainable development means we need to keep three things in mind, and that is climate and environment, economic development, and social progress. Climate and environment. First, we have to take care of our planet because this is a relief, and remember that we have only limited resources. That is why we should be mindful in whatever we do, for it can affect the future of our planet as well as the future of human beings. Nowadays, we face a great crisis. Philippines was hit by many typhoons and there are flash floods in the big area of Luzon. There are many families who lose their houses, money, as well as their loved ones. Those great flash floods could be prevented if we still have bountiful trees on our mountains, but since we already cut those trees and not replacing them, we experience this horrible catastrophe. I hope that what we have experienced right now will serve as an example for us. So this is the right time to make a move and heal the world. Second one is economic development. Almost everything we develop, buy and trade starts with nature. The smarter we use our natural resources and with the better system we create for fair distribution, the more sustainable we are. To support sustainability, we should be aware of what we buy and how it is produced. A third one is social progress. We human beings are part of nature. We are also an important resources for the world since we have the ability to think and create the strangest thing and creative things. And for us to become the better version of ourselves, we need to have safety, food and medicine, dedication, and an equal opportunities. So these three must work together, and that is sustainable development. All countries of the United Nations have agreed on a joint plan for sustainable development last 2015, and that is the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its Sustainable Development Goals. So there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals with 169 targets to reach by 2030. The Sustainable Development Goals comprise a global agenda to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure all people enjoy peace and prosperity. The goals and targets are universal, which means they apply to all countries around the world. So these are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The goal number 1 is no poverty. This goal aims to end poverty in all its form everywhere by 2030. This involves targeting the most vulnerable, increasing the most basic resources and services, and supporting communities affected by conflict and climate-related disasters. The goal 2 is zero hunger. The Sustainable Development Goals aims to end all forms of hunger and malnutrition by 2030, making sure all people, especially children, have sufficient and nutritious food all year. This involves promoting sustainable agricultural, supporting small-scale farmers, and equal access to land, technology, and markets. It also requires international cooperation to ensure investment in infrastructure and technology to improve agricultural productivity. Goal 3 is good health and well-being. The goal aims to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being is important to build prosperous societies. Ensuring healthy lives for all requires a strong commitment, but the benefits outweigh the cost. Healthy people are the foundation for a healthy community. The goal 4 is quality education. Achieving inclusive and quality education for all reaffirms the belief that education is one of the most powerful and proven vehicles for sustainable development. This goal ensures that all girls and boys complete free primary and secondary schooling by 2030. It also aims to provide equal access to affordable vocational training to eliminate gender and wealth disparities and achieve universal access to quality higher education. Goal 5 is gender equality. This goal aims to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. It is vital to give women equal rights on land and property, sexual and reproductive health, and to technology and the internet. Today, there are more women in public office than ever before, but encouraging more women leaders will help achieve greater gender equality. Goal 6 is clean water and sanitation. This goal aims to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Safe and affordable drinking water for all by 2030 requires we invest in adequate infrastructure, provide sanitation facilities, and encourage hygiene. Protecting and restoring water-related ecosystem is essential. Ensuring universal, safe, and affordable drinking water involves reaching over 800 million people who lack basic services and improving accessibility and safety of services for over 2 billion. Goal 7 is affordable and clean energy. This goal aims to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Between 2000 and 2016, the number of people with electricity increased from 78 to 87%, and the numbers without electricity dipped to just below 1 million. So, yet as the population continues to grow, so will the demand of cheap energy. And the economy reliant on fossil fuels is creating drastic changes to our climate. So investing solar, wind, and thermal power, improving energy productivity, and ensuring energy for all is vital if we were to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 7 by 2030. Expanding infrastructure and upgrading technology to provide clean and more efficient energy in all countries will encourage growth and help the environment. Goal 8 is decent work and economic growth. This goal aims to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. The Sustainable Development Goals promote sustained economic growth, higher levels of productivity, and technological innovation. So, encouraging entrepreneurship and job creations are key to this, as are effective measures to eradicate forced labor, slavery, and human trafficking. With these targets in mind, the goal is to achieve full and productive employment and decent work for all women and men by 2030. Goal 9 is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So this goal aims to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. So investment in infrastructure and innovation are crucial drivers for economic growth and development. With over half the world population now living in cities, mass transport and renewable energy are becoming ever more important. So, as are the growth of new industries and information and communication technologies. So, technological progress is also key to finding lasting solutions to both economic and environmental challenges, such as providing new jobs and promoting energy efficiency. So, promoting sustainable industries and investing in scientific research and innovations are all important ways to facilitate sustainable development. Goal 10 is reduce inequalities. This goal aims to reduce inequalities within and among countries. Income inequality is on the rise. The richest 10% have up to 40% of global income, whereas the poorest 10% earn only between 2 to 7%. So, if we take into account population growth and inequality in developing countries, inequality has increased by 11%. So, income inequalities has increased in nearly everywhere in recent decades, but at different speeds. It's lowest in Europe and highest in the Middle East. So, this widening disparities requires sound policies to empower lower income earners and promote economic inclusions of all, regardless of sex, race, or ethnicity. Income inequality requires global solution. So this involves improving the regulation and monitoring of financial markets and institutions, encouraging development assistance and foreign direct investment to regions where the need is greatest. Facilitating the safe migration and mobility of people is also key to bridging the widening divide. Goal 11 is sustainable cities and communities. This goal aims to make cities and human settlement inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So making cities sustainable means creating career and business opportunities, safe and affordable housing, and building resilient societies and economies. It involves investment in public transport, creating green public spaces, and improving urban planning and management in participatory and inclusive ways. Goal 12 is responsible consumption and production. So this goal aims to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. So achieving economic growth and sustainable development requires that we urgently reduce our ecological footprints by changing the way we produce and consume goods and resources. So the efficient management of our shared natural resources and the way we dispose our toxic waste and pollutants are important targets to achieve this goal. Encouraging industries, businesses, and consumers to recycle and reduce waste is equally important as is supporting developing countries to move forward to move towards more sustainable patterns of consumption by 2030. The goal 13 is climate action. Climate change is now affecting every country in every continent. It is disrupting the national economies and affecting lives, costing people, communities, and countries dearly today and even more tomorrow. People are experiencing the significant impacts of climate change, which include changing weather patterns, rising sea levels, and more extreme weather events. Greenhouse gas emissions from human activities are driving climate change and are continuing to rise. So, the Goal 13 aims to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Goal 14 is life below water. This goal aims to conserve and sustainably use ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. So the Sustainable Development Goals aims to sustainably manage and protect marine and coastal ecosystem from pollution as well as address the impact of ocean acidification. So enhancing conservation and sustainable use of ocean-based resources through international law will also help mitigate some of the challenges facing our oceans. Goal 15 is life on land. So this goal aims to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ocean ecosystem, sustainably manage forest, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. So human life depends on the earth as much as the ocean for our sustenance and livelihood. Plant life provides 80% of the human diet, and we rely on agriculture as an important economic resources. Forest covers 30% of the Earth's surface, provide vital habitats for millions of species, and an important sources for clean air and water, as well as being crucial for combating climate change. So every year, 13 million hectares of forest are lost, while the persistent degradation of drylands has led to the desertification of 3.6 billion hectares. disproportionate, affecting 4 communities. So while 15% of the land is protected, biodiversity is still at risk. Nearly 7,000 species of animals and plants have been illegally traded. And wildlife trafficking not only erodes biodiversities but creates insecurity, fuels conflict, and feed corruption. So urgent action must be taken to reduce the loss of natural habitats and biodiversity, which are part of our common heritage, and support global food and water security, climate change mitigation and adaptation, and peace and security. Goal 16 is peace, justice, and strong institution. This goal aims to achieve peaceful and inclusive societies, rule of law, effective and capable institution. So the Sustainable Development Goals aims to significantly reduce all forms of violence and work with governments and communities to end conflict and insecurity. Promoting the rule of law and human rights are key to this process, as is reducing the flow of illicit arms and strengthening the participation of developing countries in the institution of global governance. Goal 17 is partnership. This goal aims to strengthen means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. The Sustainable Development Goals can only be realized with strong global partnership and cooperation. The world is more interconnected than ever. Improving access to technology and knowledge is an important way to share ideas and foster innovation. Coordinating policies to help developing countries manage debt, as well as promoting investment for the less developed, is vital for sustainable growth and development. The goal aims is to enhance North-South and South-South cooperations by supporting national plans to achieve all the targets, promoting international trade, and helping developing countries increase their export is all part of achieving universal rule-based and equitable trading system that is fair and open and benefits all. So, those are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So we need to work together to achieve this by 2030, despite the challenges that we have faced today and might face in the future. Now, let's move on to eco-literacy. The term sustainable has been used frequently and often so imprecisely that the content become confusing to others. The definition we encounter most often is from Lester Brown, the founder of the World Watch Institute, who wrote in the early 90s that a sustainable society is one that can fulfill its needs without diminishing the chances of future generations. So this classical definition of sustainability is an important exhortation, but it does not tell us anything about how to actually build a sustainable societies. So this is why the whole concept of sustainability is confusing to many. So according to Fritjof Capra, we need an operational definition of ecological sustainability. A key to such definition is the realization that we do not need to invent sustainable human communities from scratch. So first, we learn from comparing the practices of societies that have sustained themselves for centuries on our limited resources based with those that have not managed to do so. Second, we can model human communities after natural ecosystems, which are sustainable communities of plants, animals, and microorganisms. The outstanding characteristic of the biosphere is its inherent ability to sustain life. To be sustainable, a human community must be designed so that its way of life, technologies, and social institutions honor, support, and cooperate with the nature's ability to sustain life. So this definition of sustainability implies that in order to build sustainable communities, we must understand the principles of organizations that have evolved in ecosystem over billions of years. So this understanding is what we call ecological literacy or ecoliteracy. So ecoliteracy is a way of thinking about the world in terms of its interdependent natural and human systems, including a considerations of the consequences of human actions and interactions within the natural context. The term was first used by American educator David Orr and physicist Fritjof Capra in order to introduce into educational practice the value and well-being of Earth and its ecosystem. So nurturing ecological literacy in students of a wide range of ages has become the goals of sustainability education programs worldwide. So, an ecological literate person is able to apply this understanding to the design and organization of our human communities and the creations of regenerative culture. These are the 5 core aspects of ecoliteracy. The first one is principles of living systems. According to Fritjof Capra, the ecological problems facing society are rooted in lack of understanding of our place in the web of life. So, a key part of ecoliteracy is reconnecting students to living system. What educator Linda Both Sweeney called developing a connected wisdom. Living systems are often self-organizing systems that have the special characteristic of life and that interact with their environment through information and material energy exchanges. So, when we walk into our nature, living things are what we see. First, every living organism from the smallest bacterium to all the varieties of plants and animals, including human beings, are living system. So next, the part of living systems are themselves living systems. A leaf is a living system. Every cell in our bodies is a living system. Finally, communities of organisms including both ecosystem and human social system, such as families, schools, and other human communities are living systems. So, connecting students to natural systems provide them with a deep sense of place and an understanding of their local environment. So, while the students are immersed in experiences on natural world as part of their classroom learning, they discover and study the principles guiding the functioning of natural systems. The second core aspect of ecoliteracy is design inspired by nature. So the guiding principles and characteristics of living systems serve as basis for envisioning and designing sustainable communities. So beyond understanding natural systems, ecological literacy is about applying this understanding to redesign of organization, communities, businesses, and societies to align with ecological principles. The idea of design inspired by nature has become popular through concepts such as biophilia, biomimicry, or biomimetics, which involves examining and emulating natural models, systems, processes, and elements in order to solve human problems. According to David Orr, the goal of ecological design is to transform how human acts in the world to provide food, shelter, energy, materials, and seek their livelihood. So ecological literacy asks what people know and how should they learn it given the limits of the earth and its system, and that societies be designed with future generations in mind. There are 3 more core aspects of ecological literacy, and it will be discussed by Miss Erika Tinapay in her video.